dissing you?
Why does King Von have to make an opinion on me when he's not from cool?
Right.
I want you to count 5 and then, you know how TMZ do the arrow and they go like, ding, ding. I want this edit to do ding, 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 ding. Niggas like 100 niggas. Nigga, in front of everybody, all his mans ran on him.
The ongoing controversy between Tekashi 6ix9ine and the late King Von has resurfaced, with 6ix9ine making provocative statements about Von nearly 5 years after his death. This long-standing conflict has roots in earlier disputes and continues to generate significant discussion within the hip-hop community. Tekashi 6ix9ine just went full savage again, and this time he's dragging King Von from the grave, saying straight up why Von deserved to die. Though it's been almost 5 years since Von passed, 6ix9ine still ain't holding back, spilling some raw truth about what really went down that night in Atlanta. The conflict between these two artists began years ago, primarily stemming from 6ix9ine's cooperation with federal authorities in 2018. The tension began back in 2018 when 6ix9ine got bagged on federal racketeering charges. Dude folded quicker than laundry and started naming names. King Von was among the many artists who publicly criticized 6ix9ine for his testimony, stating,
I don't get no fuck about the nigga 6ix9ine, I don't know. But he told them all type of people gang and they can name people locked up and shit, man. I know it's people like he probably ain't did shit to him. And he told on them, like, you know? For them, they thought it, like, there's some people I know, everybody ain't did nothing to 6ix9ine.
I be mad at you be with 6ix9ine. I be looking at you like I'm don't holler at you. And make sure 6ix9ine snitch ass get baptized.
The criticism from Von was part of a broader reaction within hip-hop to 6ix9ine's cooperation with authorities. The rap culture has historically valued loyalty and adherence to a no-snitching code, making 6ix9ine's testimony particularly controversial. Von's comments reflected this cultural value system, positioning him as a defender of traditional street principles against what many viewed as a betrayal by 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine defended his actions by arguing that the individuals he testified against weren't truly his associates.
I wore my day one. Yeah, I did it in what? I'm outside. Y'all know I'm outside. Outside. I never told on my friends. I don't tell on my friends, nigga. Those wasn't my mans. Y'all know they wasn't my mans. That's what hurt y'all. Like, damn, like, he's right. Oh, he's right. Yeah. These niggas telling on their friends. Niggas didn't even ask him. They said, take my number. Here's my number. Call me, but didn't tell nobody about my number.
This defense reflects 6ix9ine's consistent position that his testimony should not be considered snitching in the traditional sense, because he did not betray genuine friends or associates. Instead, he has maintained that he was merely extracting himself from a situation with people who were using him and who had already betrayed him in various ways. King Von was fatally shot outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta after starting a fight with Quando Rondo. The altercation escalated into gunfire, and Von was struck by Timothy Tim Leaks, a Rondo associate. 5 others were also hit in the crossfire, while law enforcement fatally neutralized 2 of Von's own associates during the chaos. The circumstances surrounding Von's death highlight the real-world consequences of street conflicts. What began as a physical altercation quickly escalated to deadly violence, resulting in multiple casualties. The incident was captured on surveillance footage, which later circulated widely online, allowing for various interpretations of what occurred. The hip-hop community was deeply affected by Von's death, with many artists expressing grief and respect for the Chicago rapper. However, 6ix9ine took a different approach, reportedly mocking Von's demise, telling him to rest in piss and burn in hell.
When I die, my niggas is gonna slide every day. Cat, nigga. That's cat. Who slipped for King Von yet? Rest in piss.
This response from 6ix9ine was widely criticized, but he has continued to make provocative statements about Von in the years since the tragedy. The persistence of these comments, even years after Von's death, has become a subject of controversy in itself. Many in the hip-hop community follow an unwritten rule about respecting the deceased, even former rivals. 6ix9ine's decision to continue criticizing Von after his death has been viewed by many as crossing a boundary. However, others have pointed out that this practice of dissing the dead is not uncommon in drill music, particularly in Chicago's rap scene, suggesting a potential double standard in how 6ix9ine's comments are received compared to similar behavior from other artists. In a recent interview, 6ix9ine reignited the controversy by making explicit statements about King Von, questioning why the Chicago rapper had involved himself in their dispute in the first place.
Why does King Von have to make an opinion on me when He's not from New York.
This statement reflects 6ix9ine's perspective that Von inserted himself into a situation that didn't directly concern him. 6ix9ine elaborated on his perspective, arguing that Chicago rappers, including Von and Lil Durk, had been vocal critics despite having no direct connection to his case.
These rappers have nothing to do with my case. Since I came home, they've been very vocal, opinionated on my case.
Yeah.
Calling me a rat, saying, please don't play that little boy in the club. Can you not listen? Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's King Von.
Right?
No, I mean, that's Lil Durk.
But Lil Durk, right-hand man is who?
King Von.
King Von went on Twitter and posted these Twitters that he said he has nothing to do with my case. When you try to get masses, your fans, to stop listening to my music, right? It cuts into my money, right?
Does it really?
No, Vlad, I'm telling you.
I don't know about that. I almost think it's publicity.
It's publicity?
Yeah.
It gets people to be like, yo, if this nigga's not listening to it, we not gonna listen to it, right? You're taking food out my family's mouth, no matter how you look at it. Listen, I'm standing on it. I'm not taking it back.
Okay,
Look
fair
at me,
enough.
that. I stand on it.
I think publicity is publicity.
Look where you at. This is my house, right?
Yes.
I got bills, right?
Yes.
When you try to take food out my family's mouth, everything comes off the table. I do not give a
The New York rapper framed these criticisms as attacks on his livelihood. 6ix9ine also addressed accusations of hypocrisy, pointing out that many rappers, particularly from Chicago, regularly reference deceased rivals in their music. When asked about the appropriateness of continuing these comments years after Von's death, 6ix9ine pushed back.
People die, the beef, what?
Usually you stop beefing with people.
Usually stop beefing.
Yes.
What about all those Chicago rappers that don't got mainstream status like King Von did? Why they diss the dead in their songs all the time?
I think it's foul.
Huh?
I think it's foul for them to do that.
So why condemn me on it? They doing it.
Yeah. I don't like when anyone does it. I don't like when anyone does it. In fact, and I'll just say this.
No, but
I was cool with Fulio before he died, and I hated that he was doing it.
okay.
And it ultimately, I think, got him.
Was King Von doing it?
Yes.
Huh?
I believe so.
He was, right?
I believe so,
Why
yeah.
you question me about it if he's doing it? Okay, but you're your own person.
Because two wrongs don't make a right.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Right.
Was he doing it?
Yes.
Was Lil Durk doing it?
Yes.
Do people continue to do it?
Yes.
This exchange highlights 6ix9ine's argument that he is being held to a different standard than other artists by pointing to the practice of dissing the dead in drill music, particularly from Chicago artists, including Von himself. 6ix9ine attempts to position his own comments as consistent with existing practices within the genre, rather than exceptionally disrespectful. Throughout the interview, 6ix9ine maintains that his comments about Von are justified by Von's own actions and public statements. He frames his perspective as simply calling it like it is, rather than gratuitously disrespecting the deceased. This stance has resonated with some listeners, while alienating others who view it as crossing an ethical line. Von himself had discussed his involvement in violence in his music and interviews, creating a persona built partly around his street reputation. This history has led some to view 6ix9ine's comments as harsh, but ultimately rooted in reality, rather than merely disrespectful. Others have strongly criticized 6ix9ine, viewing his comments as disrespectful exploitation of a tragedy for publicity. Critics suggest that 6ix9ine's comments are primarily motivated by a desire for attention and relevance, rather than any genuine grievance. Controversial figure Charleston White has sided with 6ix9ine, stating,
King Von was known to be a man who black people, a man who was accused of killing a black girl. So you mean to tell me he's celebrated, right? You got celebrities who take pictures in front of his mural. What about his victims' family? What about the people he's been accused of? Why don't y'all ever speak for them?
Why don't you look at his death as it's unfortunate that he didn't come to realize maybe some of his mistakes?
It wasn't unfortunate.
This viewpoint challenges the romanticization of street life and violence in hip-hop, suggesting that the consequences Von faced were directly related to the lifestyle he chose to live and promote. In his recent interview, 6ix9ine also mocked the circumstances of Von's death, particularly regarding the actions of Von's associates during the incident.
Cool.
Right.
I want you to count 5 and then, you know how TMZ do the arrow and they go like, ding, ding. I want this edit to do ding, 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 ding. Niggas like the 100 niggas. Nigga, in front of everybody. All his mans ran on him.
These comments highlight another dimension of 6ix9ine's criticism, the alleged hypocrisy of street loyalty. By claiming that Von's associates abandoned him in his moment of need, 6ix9ine attempts to undermine the narrative of street loyalty that was used to criticize his own cooperation with authorities. The implication is that the code Von and others espoused wasn't actually followed when it mattered most. The ongoing discourse reflects broader questions about loyalty, consequences, and accountability in hip-hop. At the core, the beef between Tekashi 6ix9ine and King Von isn't just personal. It's a reflection of the dangers and consequences baked into the lifestyle. Von's death and Tekashi's continued jabs highlight the fine line between street respect, fame, and the ultimate cost of living that life. This perspective frames the conflict between 6ix9ine and Von as representative of larger tensions within hip-hop culture, between street authenticity and personal safety, between loyalty to associates and self-preservation, and between the romanticized portrayal of street life in music and its often tragic real-world consequences. While opinions remain divided about 6ix9ine's statements and motivations, the controversy illustrates how conflicts within hip-hop can persist even after tragic outcomes, raising questions about respect for the deceased, the ethics of ongoing criticism, and the complex dynamics of street culture and its representation in music. The situation also highlights the evolving nature of hip-hop feuds in the social media era, where conflicts can continue long after one party is deceased, and where provocative statements can generate significant attention and engagement, regardless of their perceived tastefulness or ethical standing.